What's up, and welcome to the Los Wise Guys podcast. I'm your host, Eslam, aka Rod God of the Sun, accompanied by Dan Papa's Killer and Dan Emperor Disco. How's it going, fellas?
What it do, baby? We have a special episode. I'm so excited. Let's do it.
Whew, I'm excited too, man. It's gonna be.
I thought you were going to say you have a special guest. I was getting excited. I was like, oh, I did not. I didn't realize. Who's here?
As I pull out a puppet.
You're on little Mr. Sacco.
Yeah, Mr.
Just a little,
Sacco.
a little night crawler.
Oh, man.
Yes. So today we are gonna be covering what I think is the greatest nostalgic sequel ever to be made. Like, because nostalgic sequels have been made before, and they have fallen short every time, except
Mm.
this one because
Yeah.
it's the greatest. It's the greatest. So Dan, you can tell me what other nostalgic sequel you thought was good.
I mean, off the top of my head, I like to think back. It's a preference thing. Let's be real. It's a preference thing. I'm blanking. That's why I'm stalling for time to speak. But I do
Put you
like.
on the spot.
Yeah, no, really did. I'm thinking of like video games right now for some reason.
Oh no, I'm talking about shows. Sorry, I should have.
Oh well, I don't watch shows.
Yeah.
There's probably something out there.
I don't know. I've seen a lot of nostalgic stuff come back in movies, shows, and they're bringing it back because they're whatever reason they don't have anything else to make, and they're running out of original ideas.
Yeah.
So, but this one just hit hard on every level, and we're talking about X-Men '97, and goddamn, I binged that show today, and it was fantastic. Rudy's here. He said, "Hey guys, can't stick around because I haven't seen the series. Spoilers incoming." Yep,
Hey,
spoilers
congrats,
definitely
Rudy.
incoming.
There's going to be spoilers. Go enjoy that.
Yeah, go watch that show,
Yeah,
and
Then come
highly
back and watch
recommend it.
this. Come back
yeah,
and watch this.
Yeah.
yeah. So X-Men '97, my lord, um, I almost teared up like twice watching this fucking show. Man. I was like, holy shit. Um, my initial thoughts was the show was perfect. I did have a small issue with the animation. I liked the art style, but I felt like the animation was just not as smooth as I liked.
hmm
Um, and I get the style that they were going for. I know it says like X-Men '97, they're continuing the show, but like the animation felt more like GI Joe to me than it was like '90s cartoon. There was something about it that wasn't
Yeah.
as smooth as like the '90s cartoons, like the hand drawn cartoons. So other than that, the show was perfect for me. I loved it very much. The storyline was amazing, and it was, yeah. I mean, we'll get into the details in a few minutes, but yeah, it was fantastic. Dan, what you think?
Real quick, why the fuck did Rudy think disco?
Because he told him
Because I
congratulations.
said congrats.
Oh, okay. I'm about to say, like, what the fuck did you do? We were
Well, Rudy, go watch last week's. The episode that we put up today, and we shouted you guys out for the wedding and stuff. So.
yeah. Congratulations, Rudy. I hope you live happily ever after. So
Oh, he means that shit.
but yeah, no.
In sickness and health.
Yeah. But no, it's no, I like the show a lot. I don't know how many times I was telling Eslam watch the fucking show, and the only thing I would say is like Magneto, and I know you're gonna
Yeah.
watch it eventually. You're gonna wait to get everything in one shot.
Yeah,
I just kept saying it's like it's Magneto.
yeah.
You got to just
Like,
that's
there's
it. That's
just
all I have to
listen,
say.
man. There's just cements why he's my favorite X-Men of all
Oh
time.
yeah, oh yeah.
Yeah. So,
But no, man, it's such a good show. Like you're saying, the nostalgic trip is there. Um, I was seeing some stuff online, like even people who didn't really care about like the '90s show that much.
yeah,
Still, this is it's good. The cool thing is it's like it's not. I don't know if you guys have gone back to try to watch the '90s show in the recent history. But I tried doing it a couple times. It's not that it's bad, but it feels very much like a here's a 30-minute 90s show. Like
Yeah.
they hit real topics, they hit real stuff. X-Men has always been known for doing stuff like that, but
Yes.
it was very much just like, hey, this it's never in the correct order. There's always a cliffhanger where you never knew. Okay, so I guess we're never gonna know what happens to the Dark Phoenix.
Yeah.
You have something, so it's like it was always completely out of sequence. This show, X-Men 97, is how we remember the
Yeah.
X-Men from the 90s. And they feel like they nailed it. They're just like, all right, we're just gonna hit what everybody thinks it was in their brain.
Yeah.
And I feel like they nailed it to a T.
Yeah, they definitely have an they had an overall arcing story. Everything flowed into each other pretty well. They had multiple little storylines happening in the background and in the forefront, and everything led to each other. So it was very cohesive in that sense. I don't remember much about the the 90s show, and after watching this I was like, maybe I want to go back and watch it, and I might give it a try because I'll
It's
just
still good.
watch it.
It's
No,
definitely
it's
still
not
good.
about that. I'll just watch it while I'm while I'm working. So I usually have shows on while I'm working in the background. So I think the X-Men 90s cartoon would be perfect for that. And they had a lot of cameos from other Marvel characters in there, which was pretty cool. I was surprised. Um, but yeah, no, I enjoyed it very much. It was very cool. Disco, what are your initial thoughts on this?
Yeah, I think it checked all the boxes, like you guys said. I think the storyline was really well written, and most of all, I think they utilized the characters very well. Like, because there's so many X-Men, there's so many villains, so many things you could do. I think it's easy to just kind of get lost in like having all these cool, like showy characters, but they had all the good ones, and they all had their time to shine. And like you guys said, the story was cohesive and everybody and like Dan said, Magneto. I was like, "That's my boy,"
Yeah.
and it's really nice to see him shine. And there's a lot of ups and downs, and yeah, I was thoroughly enjoyed that, and I couldn't. I picked it up like halfway during the show, and after that, I was like hooked. I was like, "Dang, I gotta wait till
Yeah.
next week now. I hate this."
Dude, I was there
It's a
day
it's
one.
one of
Like
those
I
shows.
was
It's
like,
one
oh
of
man.
those shows where you like. It's a good binge. It's a good binge.
Yeah, definitely. Like I knew I was gonna watch the show, but I was watching other stuff at the time, and I was like, all right, I'll just wait until it's done, and I'll catch up, and that's what happened. But my God, there's so much happened. One of my favorite lines. Um, they were like discussing something, and Beast. I forgot what he said, and Wolverine goes like, "Okay, from the Blue Rogaine commercial or whatever." That shit was so funny. Um,
Actually, now that you mentioned that, this was so 90s.
yeah,
Like it was so 90s, like throughout the whole thing. Like they went extra hard, like with the fashion and
yeah,
everything that's going on. Like in episode one, where there's just a basketball episode, because why not? Like where they well, not a whole episode, but it's like where you see them playing basketball, they're wearing like their 90s like
yeah.
outfits, like this is how we dress up when we play basketball. I'm just like, this is incredible. Like I'm enjoying this so much. But yeah, man, just a great show overall. Now I didn't binge it. You guys know I'm not much of a binger,
Yeah.
but from my perspective, the week to week, awesome. Like it was a great week to week thing.
Yeah, I'm sure because they you were hooked on the ending of each episode like I was, and I
Exactly.
was like, "All right, yeah, come on, let's go.
Yep.
I want to see the next one."
So I liked being able to sit with it, So it's just like
Yeah,
it's there, let it happen. I was like, all right, give me a week, let's see where we're at. So
yeah.
I was enjoying that run very much. Like I was saying, so last week last week where we talked about Invincible
2 weeks ago,
2 weeks ago. I mean, well,
last
last
episode.
episode I meant to
Yeah.
Yeah,
say,
yeah,
yeah.
yep.
So that's why it's just like as we're doing Invincible, this show is happening.
Mm,
So it's like the whole time I was so hard on Invincible because it's like, oh, I'm only watching this, which
yeah.
is just like a million times better, in my opinion, just a million times better than what it's going on over there. Then they had the whole scheduling issues. Like Invincible is great and all, but I was just like, you know what? If you want to just go ahead and erase Invincible season 2 from my brain and give me more X-Men 97, I'm not going to complain. I'm perfectly fine with that. So that's how I feel about that.
Um, well, I mean, I hope X-Men 97 comes back with a strong second season. I think they will.
Hope
And
so.
no scheduling issues there because I mean, I Yeah, I don't understand why Invincible had scheduling issues. I mean, Amazon has a shit ton of money. I mean, they put $1 billion into one of the shittiest shows ever created, and then they
Yeah,
can't fucking
it
get Invincible
totally
on
ruined.
schedule.
Yeah.
If you guys want to see our episode talking about the Lord of the Rings, Rings of Power show, you go ahead and look for
Oh,
that on YouTube.
Yeah, yeah, the one of the
oh
worst
my
shows ever.
god.
One of the worst
I,
ways
I
to
had
spend a
such
billion
high
dollars.
hopes too. I wanted to see that so bad.
That was I want to say that was the first episode where I said Eslam, give me the one, and I just
Yeah.
I just went off.
Oh man.
But yeah, yeah.
All right. But let's get into a little bit of the story of X-Men 97. So it I don't remember the ending of the original X-Men cartoon, but when the show starts, it's picking up after apparently Charles Xavier was assassinated.
Or
And
so the humans think at that point in time.
yes, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, so do the X-Men. They think he was assassinated too.
Well, no, they knew that. Unless I'm mistaken, they
No,
knew
you're
that he
mistaken.
was. You sure you saw the last episode? Okay, so I'm wrong.
Yeah, yeah. No,
No.
everybody thought he was dead.
Okay, I thought
Because
they just knew he was out there. Okay.
no, no, no. Everybody thought he was dead because then, uh, in his will, you find out in the second episode that he left the X Men, his estate, and everything to Eric Magneto. And Scott wasn't happy about it. You know, they had their issues. Magneto's trying to prove himself, and later on, you discover Professor Xavier was out in space trying to get some space ass, and so then the main villain of the story shows like that the announcement of that world to everybody, and that's when everybody discovers, both the humans and the X-Men. They're like, oh shit, Doctor Professor, I don't know why I keep saying doctor. Professor Xavier's not dead. And so that happens, and then but that happens after the events of Genosha. So, you know, Magneto works with the X-Men. They start getting people's trust again, and you know, he's working to realize Professor Xavier's dream of cohabitation. And then they start by making Genosha a UN country. And then when they're celebrating on Genosha, um, a huge Sentinel attacks, and you know, you think Magneto's dead. Gambit definitely dies, which was very fucking sad. I loved Gambit. He was one of
Oh
my
man,
favorites.
Oh
that
yeah.
one hit me hard. I was
Oh
like,
yeah.
Gambit can die throughout
I
the
know,
season. I was like, he's gonna come back, right? He's gonna come back.
but I guess they did that so they can make room for the air Magneto and Rogue romance, which apparently happened. I don't know if it happened in the X-Men show. I that's one of
I
like
don't
the
remember
reasons.
it. I don't think it happened in the show, but the whole Gambit leaving,
Yeah,
just they're just getting ready for
yeah.
season 2 where they're going with that. So I'm very much looking forward to that. The whole Gambit stuff there, but
Oh, okay. So it's interesting to see to hear your thoughts on that. But
I gotcha.
yeah, so you got Genosha, and then you know Magneto's like, all right, this I told you guys I was right, and Magneto just, you know, Omega level threat. He goes off and literally
Tell me that's not the coolest fucking thing when they're just like,
yeah.
oh no, we got no mega level mutant or something like that. It's like,
Yeah.
God damn, that's
So
crazy.
the Sentinels said that with Magneto and Storm. I
Yeah.
think they were the two Omega level mutants that we've seen. I don't remember
Yeah.
seeing another one. I know they are Omega level. I forgot which other one is. I know Reed Richards and um the invisible chick. I forget her name.
The
Uh,
Invisible Woman.
yeah. Well, okay, there you go. The invisible chick.
The fact
Uh,
that you had that and you couldn't remember the name.
their son is an Omega level mutant.
Oh yeah, yeah.
I
He's
know.
supposed to be like this. I forgot his deal, but I
Yeah,
remember he was just like, you don't fuck with him.
yeah, yeah.
Is
He's like,
Cable Omega?
I don't think Cable's Omega level.
I don't think so.
No. Um,
I heard he had like nanites and he's like fighting nanites, and then there's like a storyline where he like actually got rid of the nanites and then unlocked his full potential and he was
yeah.
Omega.
Yeah, he got
Oh,
worms. He
I
got
mean,
worms.
it could have happened, but yeah. Besides the point. So Magneto just like literally shuts down the Earth's magnetic field. I was like, oh shit.
He
So yeah,
EMP'd the whole
that's
world. That shit was
yeah.
crazy.
So that's happened in a couple like different
Yeah.
comics and stuff like that. It never happened like in the X-Men series, and it's like where it left off in the original series is one of those things where it's like the cliffhanger at the original show was just like, okay, Charles is dead. Magneto's just like fuck the Earth, and then it was like, oh my god. So when we get to X-Men 97, they kind of just like brushed it over. It was like, oh yeah, Magneto's plan just kind of didn't work, and now he's taking over the X-Men. I was like, oh fuck, what happened? I was like,
Yeah.
where are we gonna go with that? And then by the end of X-Men 97, Magneto's like, no, fuck the Earth.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that
no,
was
it
very
was
cool
good.
because he's the master of magnetism. Obviously, that's his mutant powers. So he can control the Earth magnetic field. And yes, sorry, that's my dog.
It's all good.
Um,
Likes
Jesus.
Magneto too.
Yeah, sorry, 1 second.
No, go do what you
Keep
gotta do.
talking. Keep talking.
Absolutely. But yeah, Disco. What's it called? So Magneto in this show. My God, dude. Like that's what I was about to talk
He,
about the whole magnetic fields and everything, but just everything about the way his speeches to the way he talks, the way his hair flows, just like everything about this man was just like Magneto was just the star of
Yo,
this show.
Magneto was channeling his inner Fabio. Isn't that his name?
Yeah,
yeah,
that
with the
that is a
hair, the
90s
flowy
reference.
hair.
I'll give
Yeah,
you that.
Yeah. My man was chiseled. He had the hair, the jawline.
yeah.
Do you guys
But I
remember
loved
that
him. I
that
loved him. His whole progression throughout the whole series. He like became this role model. It was like, oh, maybe he is gonna do good by the X-Men. And then next thing you know, he like flips and EMPs the whole world. And then at the end,
I
it, like
mean, he wasn't wrong, bro. Like they
no,
fucking
he called it.
destroyed
He called
Genosha.
it.
I was
I mean,
so
Everybody was like,
sad.
he
that's
said it was gonna happen.
that's a beautiful thing about Magneto. It's like, is he ever really wrong? Like
Not
ever?
really.
It's like you could kind of see it from his point of view. One thing I would say real quick, speaking about Fabio, do you guys remember that time he was riding on a roller coaster and a bird like exploded in his face?
Nah.
That happened. Man was on a
Oh
roller
man.
coaster, a bird came and just like exploded in his face.
That's wild.
He got distracted by the hair flowing.
So it's like you see him get off a roller coaster ride, he's just bloody mess with feathers all over him. It
That's
was
crazy.
insane.
That
Jesus.
Yeah.
I'm
He
suing
got a
somebody.
I wonder if he had his face insured.
Maybe. Honest to God, he might. I wouldn't be surprised.
Because there's like certain models and stuff like they get their like let's say their hands or feet
Yeah,
insured
yeah.
or I forget like sports players sometimes do the same.
Yeah, it could be the case. I know. I think. I want to say boxers. Well, no, their hands are considered weapons. I know that.
Yeah, they get
Yeah.
registered.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. That's crazy.
Maybe they can insure it too. Insure your weapon.
Yeah, so you have this villain, I forget his name already, but he was kind of born from a future like virus from the parents, and then he kind of has this ability to talk to machines, and he integrated himself. He used Sinister. Oh, also Jean had a clone, and I'm just like, there's so much fucking going on. Storm lost her powers, then
His
got
name
them
is
back.
Bastion, by the way.
Yes.
Bastion.
There you go, Bastion.
Yeah. So Bastion, Jean had her clone. Scott had a baby with the clone. um, and then you had
Wolverine lost
Storm.
his adamantium.
Yeah,
That
that
was
is true.
crazy.
I wonder if he still is gonna have his.
Oh man, refer back to the comics on that one too.
Okay.
It's gonna be season 2 is gonna go fucking crazy. That's all
Yeah,
I'm
so I'm
saying.
wondering, like, so I figured that they were pulling storylines from different
Yeah.
comic books and like combining them and creating new stories with them, like elements and stuff. But yeah, and then the show ends. Um, you know, Eric and Professor Xavier are in Eric's head. The professor's trying to get him to remember himself again and what he is, and then you know he puts everything back into place, the earth magnetic field, um and then when he does that, they get pulled, like when he stops the M comet from crashing into the planet. um they kind of just disappeared, and you find out that they time traveled. Right, half of the group went back to ancient Egypt. Scott and Jean got pushed into the future, and then we get to see the first mutant, which is Apocalypse. Um, so it's very interesting to yeah, next season's gonna be wild. So Jean and Scott are in the future. They met their not teenage, but like adolescent son. Like he's like maybe 10, what
Mhm.
he looked like. Um, and then the rest of the X-Men are together in ancient Egypt, and shit's about to go wild. So we're gonna get Apocalypse again. Sinister didn't die, but I'm sure he'll come back and rebuild himself at some point. Um, and I think Bastion died because it's like the only person that died and didn't come back so far is Gambit. So let's see what happens.
Yeah.
Um, he might come back too. Who knows? They might change some timelines, and all of a sudden Gambit's back. But
I could tell you where they're gonna go storyline wise with Gambit. Like it's a
okay,
like
yeah,
yeah. So
share what your thoughts are. What's the
Spoilers.
next steps?
Yeah, this is like a famous thing like in comics. So we all know Apocalypse is
Yeah.
as of right now the looks like he's
Oh,
the big
his
bad.
horseman.
The four horsemen. He needs to find his
Oh,
horsemen.
Oh,
yeah.
Gambit.
so Sinister's definitely
Well, Gambit is the horseman of death. At
Okay.
least he was. So
Yeah.
it's like that's one
I
right
know.
there.
I know. Angel was one of the horsemen.
Angel was a horseman as well. That's
Yeah.
who he became Archangel.
Yeah.
But there's been like 50 horsemen. There's always different iterations.
Yeah.
Apocalypse always comes back. It's like, I got a new horseman. But like those are two of the more famous ones.
Yeah.
Now, if you look at the people that like died at the whole Genosha thing, Sebastian Shaw is one of them. He could be a horseman.
Who's
He died and
Sebastian
stayed
Shaw?
dead. He was the one that he looked like he was out of he looked like he came off the ship that went to Pocahontas of people.
Oh, the old English looking
Yeah,
dude.
exactly.
Okay.
I love how that description worked. Okay.
Yeah.
So Sebastian Shaw is one of them. And then Madeline Pryor is still dead.
Oh,
The
true.
clone of Jean.
Yeah.
So that's a potential 3
Was
right
she the
there.
clone?
Madeline Pryor is the clone, yeah.
Or is she the original?
No, she's the clone.
Oh,
Wait,
okay.
that's not believe. That's not
I
saying
did.
fuck this. I'm
Oh,
done.
my bad.
I don't
I'm
have
sorry.
anything to do with this
I didn't mean
podcast.
to offend
I know
you.
it's the clone.
Disco did not just ask. Oh, hell no.
And it's funny because like when I right before X-Men 97 came up, I was watching like a couple videos, and one person said something along the lines like they saw the trailer come out. I was just like, "Hey, Jean's pregnant." I doubt they're going to do the storyline where she has a clone and they're going to do all this because that's going to be too complicated. They're not going to do that on Disney Plus. And what did they do? Bam! Clone
Surprise.
Madeline Pryor. I was like, "Oh shit, they're doing it."
They
But
did a
he's
little
back.
something with everybody, and that's
Oh
why I
yeah,
said before they utilized the characters very well. Everybody
big
had
time.
their like screen time, and it was fulfilling too. Because sometimes when it's like a short series like this, like they kind of just graze over, and it's like boom, like okay, we gave them a little depth, but now everybody had their own like compelling story to tell, and I
Dude,
really enjoyed
I thought Wolverine was gonna get with one of the genes at least,
that.
but he is just not meant to be
It's
Wolverine.
gonna be Morph.
Yeah.
but
Um,
but no, man, it's everything about this show. Like I enjoyed it. There was like Disco was just talking about, everybody has their own little moment.
Yeah.
One thing I really thought was cool is like when you look back at the original show, we were introduced to the X-Men in the series along with Jubilee being introduced into this world and this
Yeah.
X-Men, and it's just like we're seeing things through her point of view, basically through her eyes. I like how they kind of did that again here with Sunspot, where it's
Yeah.
like now Jubilee's like she's the vet who's like, hey, let me bring you into this world and do this. So I thought that was cool for people like, okay, here's a similar jumping on point, which it kind of like it. One thing I wanted to talk about, the most iconic thing I honestly think about this entire show is the intro,
Mm,
where so
yeah.
it's like they recreated the intro. It's not exactly one for one. And
No.
then they have a bunch of different points. And one of the famous things in the original intro is where you'd see Jubilee running from a bunch of mutant haters. She walks up to a chain link fence, and then you cut out, and it's Wolverine and his claws. This one, they switched it out for Sunspot to do that same exact spot that Jubilee did
Nice.
this time around.
Nice.
But one other thing they did is that when somebody would like die in the show or we thought they were dead, they were eliminated from the intro this season.
Oh.
So when Magneto, we thought that he had died in Genosha, he was no longer in the intro until it was revealed that he was still alive.
Yeah.
So it's like the intro kept on morphing throughout. No pun intended, but it kept on like morphing throughout the season. So it's like that's really cool, and it's like it's already like the most badass intro like ever. It's literally the ringtone for my song. I mean, ringtone for my phone. But yeah, no,
I did not notice that.
Oh yeah, it changed. I mean,
Well,
I
I
don't know about you
started
guys.
skipping the intro at one point.
Fuck you,
because-
Eslam.
yeah.
This is a show that you do not skip the intro for ever. Even if
well,
you're
I won't
binging.
for the second season, but
Jesus.
hey, man, I had to watch that shit.
We disgracing the X-Men over here. I'm sorry,
Shut up,
Professor
bro.
X.
You didn't watch the intro either. You were just saying I didn't watch it.
He really tried to sneak it out. Like he was really trying to play it off. Like we didn't hear.
He was like, "Nah, I'm
I was gonna call him out. I was gonna let him finish the sentence and call him out.
2 seconds later,
That's all said. Fuck that. Shut up. Oh man. Don't skip
time.
the intro for this show.
I won't. Not for season 2. I promise. I'll watch the whole thing.
Oh man.
No, I'm probably still gonna skip. It's fine.
Oh man, but no, man, that's just such a goddamn good show. And like I said, the things that they're building for season 2 with Apocalypse, Gambit stuff, Wolverine that's gonna be fucking wild. It's just gonna be a lot that's coming. I can't wait, man. Really can't wait.
I wonder what characters are they gonna bring back. So I'm wondering, are they gonna bring Iceman back? Are they gonna bring Sabretooth?
You know who I really want to see?
Who?
The Juggernaut, bitch. Like
yes. Juggernaut.
It's like we got a tease where Morph turned into a lot of people. Let's
he
do
did
that. But
he did.
It's just like I could be wrong. I don't know what the fate of the Juggernaut was in the original thing, but if they could bring him in, and if they do, he literally has to say I'm the Juggernaut, bitch, at some point. But yeah.
I like Colossus.
Yeah, Colossus. We saw Colossus at one point. When morphed into him.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Colossus. Anybody that was missing, Morph just turned into him.
Yeah. They made a little we saw Daredevil, we saw Spider-Man, Iron Man.
Hell, we saw Mary Jane and Peter Parker.
Yeah.
Yeah, we saw all that. It was pretty cool. And it's what I really liked about this is I've always said when it comes to Marvel, like, yeah, I'm a DC guy. Yes, we all know that. I still got a lot of love for Marvel, a lot of respect for Marvel, but it's always come down to Spider-Man, my favorite Spider-Man and X-Men. And it's just like, to me, it's just like, if you talk about like,
I feel like those are their greatest properties.
And the problem is, for years, the MCU made it so that it wasn't. And it was just like, that was one of the reasons why I really got upset with MCU.
They did that because they didn't have the rights to make the movies. So
what did they do? They were just like, okay, so we can't do Spider-Man. Fuck it. We'll figure it out. Eventually they bring in Spider-Man. Yeah. And then what did they do to the X-Men? Eslam, what did they do to the X-Men?
Well, they tried to do the Inhumans instead of the
Inhumans. They said, oh, we don't have the rights to the X-Men. Let's take this team that nobody gives a fuck about, and we could go ahead and make them mutants, but we're not going to call them mutants. We're just going to call them Inhumans. And not only that, we're going to make it so that there's this disease where people turn into Inhumans, which also kills mutants. They literally were killing off mutants and X-Men. They're just like, yeah, we can't do it. We don't have the rights to the movie, so fuck them. Fuck the comics, fuck the shows, fuck all that. We don't care about the X-Men. Finally, in my opinion, Marvel's or the MCU's, whatever you want to call it, their greatest show is X-Men based.
Yeah.
As it should be. It's a given. You don't fucking sleep on the X-Men. The storytelling is great.
Well, I think now they're going to start bringing the X-Men in through Deadpool.
Yeah, it makes sense.
Because Deadpool, obviously Colossus, he had the run in with the school. They didn't show some of the characters that that probably they didn't have the rights to, but now they have Wolverine. So through Wolverine, I think they're gonna start bringing in the X-Men, and they're gonna start doing that. Yeah. So
I was reading that the next Avengers movie is gonna have like 60 characters. So I'm wondering if those are gonna be some X-Men characters. I'm just saying, I hope some of them are X-Men characters.
Those movies have been
yeah, they're gonna be terrible for sure. But
Phase 3 has been nothing but trash. It's been so bad throughout everything.
They're flexing 60 characters, but it's like one character is probably gonna be on for like 2 seconds, get beat up. It's gonna be. I feel like it's gonna be.
Yeah.
I feel like they're trying to recreate, Endgame and the other one, like part one and part two, and like those movies. I'm a DC guy too, but those movies I really enjoyed the hell of them. They
Yeah.
were great. They had a
Infinity
lot.
War and Endgame are two great movies.
Yeah,
They're just fine.
they had a great balance with the amount of characters that they had. The way the storyline got wrapped up, it was very nice. It was, it was cohesive. So I show respect to those movies. They were great. Phase 3 since those movies has been garbage. Has,
I feel like they're gonna be chasing that like
they are going to be
peak
chasing it.
that peak for a long
And I,
time
you
until
know,
they probably fizzle out.
they
Probably.
tried to do a lot of like all this woke shit, and it doesn't work. It was really bad. Like they did that with She-Hulk, they tried to do it with the Marvels, they tried to do it with all this other shit, and it was just bad. Just stick
It feels
to.
it feels forced and like they're
Yeah.
trying too hard. Like it's just not landing. Like
Like
that's not gonna land.
why was She-Hulk twerking with Megan the Stallion? Like why was that even a thing?
So the weird thing is
Big
about
bait.
that sentence, the only part that doesn't fit is Megan the Stallion. She-Hulk twerking makes perfect sense. As much as I don't like She-Hulk, I didn't watch the show or anything. She-Hulk has been that character. She always was that character. That
I
is who
don't know
she's supposed
She-Hulk
to
from
be.
the comic books, and I was like,
Yeah,
all right, I don't know this character from the comic books. That's why I watched the show, because I was like, let me
yeah,
get introduced to it, because they've done decently with other characters that I've never heard about. So I was like looking forward to it, kind of, and I started watching. I was like, this is horrible. You
yeah. It's
guys did
just
not do good.
from from what I've seen, that is an accurate portrayal of She-Hulk.
Okay,
Just saying.
I guess
I was like, I'm not getting on them. It's just like, do I like it? No, I never liked She-Hulk, but I was
I
like, is that
guess I don't
wrong?
like it
That is
either.
not wrong. Yeah,
I
and I was
guess I
like,
don't like it either because it
but
was not good.
yeah. And my thing is like when you look at the height of Marvel pre MCU, it's
Mhm.
always been like, okay, when was Marvel like at its highest? It's like I think about the 90s cartoons, which is X-Men, Spider-Man,
Yeah,
Fantastic Four kind of, and Iron Man
yeah,
kind of, and there was the Hulk as well. They were here
yeah.
and there, but it was really X-Men and Spider-Man. We go to okay, it was like let's start making movies. Which movies were the highest in terms of Marvel movies? Oh, the Tobey Maguire Spider-Man movies, and then those X-Men movies.
Yeah.
There was a
Blade.
Punisher in there. Blade was another one that was okay.
Yeah.
I don't put it on par with the other ones. It is what
No.
it is. But it was still it has a fan base. People love it.
You
But
not getting Blade, you're wilding. Blade still has a crazy huge cult following. I don't know. I
it
just love
does.
I
No,
Blade.
think
it
it has
does.
a
Don't get me
cult
wrong.
following, but
It has a cult following, but
I
it's
don't
not
think
hitting
it
those
did.
levels.
Yeah, it didn't
Yeah.
do as well in
Don't
the
get me
box
wrong. Blade's
office as
great.
the other one.
Blade is like he's one of those exceptions when I talk about Marvel. I was like, I like X Men and Spider Man. Somebody's like Blade. I was like, okay, yeah, Blade's a given. I feel the same way about Punisher. I was like, yeah, I do like them. But it's kind of just like those are like the two main ones. And then it's like MCU hits and they're just like, hey, forget all that cool shit. Remember Thor? And the world said no. We
Yeah.
don't.
Oh my god.
It was like, well, here he is. Here's Thor. It was
Thor
like,
was so bad. All three of the movies were fucking horrendous.
isn't there
Four
four?
of them,
Yeah.
whatever. I don't fuck. So fucking bad.
But
Ugh.
that's the thing. It's just like, hey, we have this stuff. It's like, remember Hulk? It was like, yeah, you tried twice already with those movies. They're both bad. Here he is again. He's part of the Avengers. Okay, I guess. Iron Man, it was like, oh yeah, that alcoholic dude, right? It's like, yeah, he's in here. He has a heart condition.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. And Captain America, oh, the guy with the shield, he has a shield. Okay, this is your team.
That rogue threw into a mountain.
Yo,
Yo, she launched that. I was dying.
dude, the
She's
fact
like,
that
fetch, bitch.
the fact that Rogue went rogue was hilarious to me the whole time. I was
So
like, Rogue
funny.
is a beast. And that so one thing I did want to mention real quick when I was talking about the different horsemen, I mentioned four potential. Rogue.
Yeah.
Rogue, she wants to be with
Remy.
Gambit.
Yeah.
Why not go ahead and do it? At this point, they're gonna have some type of shit where they can physically touch and they won't have an issue.
Mhm.
Also, in the comics, they could physically touch it. It was never an issue. It is neither here nor there. But you know, that's like I feel like
Wow,
she
she
would
can
fit.
like turn it off. I've
No,
always
no,
known her
Gambit
that
can.
Oh.
So Gambit, this is gonna sound crazy. Gambit actually was an Omega level mutant.
Mhm.
He turned himself down. I forgot how he actually got experimented on. He's like, I don't want to deal with this. I just want to have a fucking just chill, whatever. So
Yeah.
they're like, all right, calm the fuck down. They kind of lowered his level a little bit.
Yeah.
But it's like he was originally an Omega level. So you know how he has the whole I forget what it's called, the whole
Yeah.
the thing. So he could do that where it's just like he could actually store that shit in his mind as well. So it's just like he could do that, and it's like he could like kind of, I forgot how it works, but he kind of like puts it over his skin or whatever, and then it's like a barrier that creates, so he could hence, just like Magneto has with Rogue. It's a similar thing that he could do with Rogue as well, where he has no problem physically touching her.
Okay.
So, but yeah, he's got a lot of shit going on. But
yeah, Gambit was always one of the fucking coolest characters in X-Men.
Absolutely.
Yeah, Gambit, Magneto, Colossus. Some of my favorites, Iceman.
You know, they did really good within the show. They gave a lot of respect to Cyclops.
Yeah, they did.
They put a lot of respect into that man's name this entire show.
Yeah.
Like free falling, where he's just like, oh, let me just go ahead and do a blast real quick. Oh, I'm fine now. It's just like he really felt like, oh, he legit runs this fucking team.
Yeah.
You know, and that was just like, that's what Cyclops was always meant to be. So definitely enjoyed that.
I do gotta say, I didn't really like Professor Xavier's arc in this show.
Yeah, I wasn't a big fan of it. I think it was my least favorite, but there's so many more to love.
He was my least favorite character in this show, and I usually have a lot of respect for Professor Xavier, but I don't know.
He getting his space tail.
Yeah, he went out for Space Tail, like fucked up, came back like he fucked up 2 worlds. You know what I mean? Just for some space ass, and I'm like, come on, man. It's like, all right.
I feel like Xavier's known for his diet, though. It's like he's got his heart in the right place usually.
Yeah,
and he's just like, I'm trying to do stuff, and it's just like it just don't work, Charles.
I think what this show really like pushed to the audience is that Professor Xavier and Eric are 2 sides of the same coin. They want the same thing. They are going about it differently. And each one is going about it in a different extreme. Instead of having balance, instead of being a team and checking each other, you know, having using strength when needed and using peace when needed. And you need both. So I thought that was interesting, and I felt like maybe they were getting towards the end when they were like together in Eric's mind, and maybe that'll moving forward. That's what's going to happen. They'll join forces, but as of right now, they're still, you know.
So the X-Men, Charles and Eric are famous for. So remember, X-Men was like big or was like introduced like in the 60s, popular in the 70s and stuff like that. So like they were very much based off of civil rights movement, where you had people doing that, and literally their comparisons are like Charles and Eric comparisons to Martin Luther King and Malcolm X. So it's like it's very much that's what it is, and it's like you said, Eslam. It's just like it's always like an amazing story told between the two, because neither one is wrong, neither one is 100% right either.
Yes.
So it's kind of just like, all right, let's go ahead and what can we do to kind of balance this out and fix it? That's why I always felt like X-Men is always been compelling, because it's just like it's rooted in reality, or it's just like these are just people who are just being oppressed and they have no reason to be oppressed. It's fucked up, and they're just trying to just exist.
Yeah,
you know?
I know. Seen a lot of that today too.
But no, it's like I said, it was a great show. I was gonna say one thing, I can't remember what it is, but it is what it is. I like the show. Everybody should go fucking watch it.
Yes, I 100% agree with Dan.
It's rare that we all unanimously like agree on a show, and this is another one. This is another one where
the last one was Shogun.
Yep. Yep.
Did you guys hear that they're making a seasons 2 and I think 3?
Yes.
2 and 3.
We told you about that. Yes.
I saw a thing today that said
I think you did tell me about that.
Yeah. Toranaga is gonna play a role in Ghost of Tsushima.
Yes,
yeah, he is. Yeah, he is.
But who's he gonna play? He's not gonna play Jin, right? He's too old.
Nope. Yeah. He's probably gonna be the uncle, and I can't wait.
Oh, that makes a lot of sense. That would be awesome.
Put Hiroyuki Sanada on everything. Let's get him a spot on this podcast. I want to see this man everywhere.
He makes everything better.
Either. I would not mind.
He didn't have to say anything. Just put him on here. I'll just look at him.
I want him to be Alfred. That would be fantastic.
Oh my god. Would be so good.
It would be the greatest fucking Alfred ever.
Honestly, pick somebody in the Bat family he wouldn't be good at. Pick one person. This man could be Batgirl and make it amazing. Like Hiroyuki Sanada can play any role.
He's so good.
I want to see a movie with him, Morgan Freeman, Denzel Washington, just all of
That's too much.
Eddie Murphy.
That's too much.
Oh God.
Eddie Murphy threw me off, but I'm okay with it. I'm okay with that.
I want to see old Eddie Murphy with the red leather jacket.
Man, that shit don't fit.
Oh man.
All right, final thoughts.
I saw a funny meme today that made me laugh. It was DMX and Xavier, Charles Xavier's chair, and it said, "Y'all go make me use my mind."
That's hilarious.
I saw that today. I was like, I need to talk about. I need to bring this up on the podcast because that is
so funny.
It was one of the funniest things I've ever seen.
Oh shit! The internet wins again, bro.
Internet's unstoppable.
I love the internet.
My finishing thought is I just want to shout out my wife.
The internet was like, nope. Internet unstoppable. The internet is. Look at his face, bro. Look at that pose. My God, this is the greatest fucking moment of LWG podcast history.
I can't breathe.
He's still frozen.
Oh man, I'm crying. I'm crying.
Wait. I'm taking a screenshot of this.
Oh man, that is incredible.
He's like, I want to shout out to my what?
It's still there.
Oh, he's still frozen. Damn, bro. The internet does not want him to shout out his wife, bro.
If somebody's watching this on Twitch, please clip that out. I'd very much appreciate that.
That's fucking hilarious.
Oh man, you know what? Shout out to his wife.
Shout out. Oh, and he's gone. Oh,
so she deserves to be shouted out, no matter what the internet says. Oh man.
I just want him to come back on. I can't. Like, I need him to come back.
I was gonna say, if you want to try giving your final thoughts, you saw what happened to the last person.
My final thoughts is I want to know what happened to Disco.
Oh man.
My final thoughts are not gonna be nowhere near as interesting.
Oh man. This man got sent back in time to deal with Apocalypse as well. He's back there
for shouting out his wife.
It's him. He's Apocalypse. Everybody's praising him.
Oh shit! Wait, he's texting me.
All right. What did he say?
He said trying to shout out my wife and she unplugs the Wi-Fi. It's the fucking greatest. It's the fucking greatest. That's so goddamn funny. All right, let's just fucking end it. I don't know how long it's gonna take him to get his Wi-Fi back on.
That's incredible.
Oh, shout out to Disco's wife for real.
He's gonna take it back. He's gonna take that back. Watch.
Oh my goodness. Thank you for listening to Los Wise Guys podcast. If you like what you hear, don't forget to follow us on social media, like, subscribe, share, rate, and review. Go check us out on YouTube. Go check us out on Twitch. Thank you for listening. Have a great week.